Here, Charlie.
Oh, I'm stupid.
Hang tight just to make sure we're live.
We are live.
We are live. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Great to have you. Wish us all the Shabbat Shalom before I mute everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
If you have two devices on in one household, could you please turn the volume off of one of them? That's what that echo comes from. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Thanks, boss.
Hi, Annette.
Hi.
All right. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. This is the worst part. I'm so sorry. Hopefully you can still hear me fine. I had to mute everyone. It's the worst part of being a rabbi on Zoom, or sorry, Arab Rob on Zoom. But I'm so happy to see you all here. We have a very special Shabbat service tonight. Just to introduce myself to all who may not have seen me yet. Sam Klein, I'm the educational director, religious director at Kol Tikvah. I'm joined by Samantha, the experiential education director at Kol Tikvah, Samantha Duenas. We have Jade, our rabbinic intern at Kol Tikvah here tonight. Taking a good way, everybody. And we are also joined by many of our youth group, Kitty board members and high school students tonight. And just thrilled to have them. And I want to start by introducing Evan, our Kitty religious and cultural vice president, who will be our song leader tonight. So a lot of wonderful leaders gathered together. And I want to offer you a teaching before we hear from them tonight. So Passover is around the corner. And, you know, during the Seder, right after we eat that delicious Hillel sandwich, you know, the one with the maror and the charoset, we read these words from the Haggadah, the book that leads us through the Seder. In every generation, one is obligated to see oneself as one who personally went out from Egypt. So just as it says, you shall tell your child on that very day, in the book of Exodus, Ba'avur zeh asa Adonai li, b'tzeiti miMitzrayim. It's because of this that God did for me when I went out from Egypt. That's from the book of Exodus. And so tonight, many of our students have actually prepared special prayer introductions to complete that very task. Samantha and I asked them, what makes this Passover different and meaningful from other Passovers? And what have you learned about yourself since last Passover? Because a lot has happened since then. And there's one spin on this line from Exodus in the Haggadah that I just love. And it's from Maimonides, of all people, the Rambam, no less. So what Maimonides does is he changes one letter in the traditional formula. So in every generation, one who's obligated to see oneself as one who personally went out from Egypt. Maimonides adds a hey and inserts lecharot to show instead of lirot to see. And one's posture, therefore, must reflect the stature of a liberated person. On a Seder night, we must act out the part for all to see and to learn. So how do we show rather than tell or say? So the Torah reports that the Israelite people emerged from Egypt with arms raised high in triumph. And so today, we can express that sense of elation with the high five to show that I too emerged from slavery. So if you have someone near to you in your home, please offer them a high five. And if you're on your own like me, give me a high five here. Shabbat Shalom. So it's so important that we find these times to get together as a community. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being here to support our students. We'll join together in Himei Natov to get us started. Evan, Himei Natov, please.
הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Beautiful, Evan. So our first student to lead us in an answer to that question on Passover is Danielle. So Danielle, if you could please give us a hearty wave and I will find you and unmute. I see you there. Excellent. So I'm asking to unmute and I'll spotlight you.
Last year, my family and I celebrated Passover on Zoom with family from all across the country. It was our first time using Zoom for this kind of event, but since then we have used Zoom to celebrate birthdays, graduations, high holidays, Shabbat services, anniversaries, and even a baby shower. I have learned that the most important thing is taking the time to stay connected with friends and family, no matter how you do it. That's why this year's Passover is more meaningful than previous years. After a year of staying at home, we still managed to unite and celebrate this holiday together and grow a stronger community. As life is slowly opening up, I hope we continue this new tradition of connecting with family across the country.
Thank you so much, Danielle. That was really beautiful. I think a lot of us are feeling the same way. So we're about to sing Shalom Aleichem, and Shalom Aleichem comes from the mystics of Sfat in Israel, in northern Israel, during the Middle Ages. And the story of Shalom Aleichem is that each person who is walking home from synagogue on Friday nights has two angels on their shoulders. And as the story goes, we hope to entice them to speak blessings into our homes and into our Shabbat experience. And in Reform liturgy, we don't talk about angels very much, but we have kept this Lecha Dodi, which talks about angels. And I think the reason why is because in Lecha Dodi, we have blessings that are given to our guests. Peace be with you, come in peace, bless us with your peace, and go in peace. And so even though angels can be something we believe in or something that we don't believe in, we always believe in being gracious to our guests. If you're like me, you're really missing having guests in your house. I know all I want to do is have a big Shabbat dinner and have you all over, but we get to be here together tonight. So even though we're not saying shalom to our guests, we're saying shalom to each other, we're saying shalom to our teens, and hopefully we're saying shalom to some angels this evening. So we're going to continue with Shalom Aleichem, and Sam is going to lead us.
Okay, please indulge your educator posing as Cantor and join me in singing to these angels. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Oy, 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 mi melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem. Boachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Ay mi melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu.
כן. צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי העליון. אני מלאכי המלאכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Metsuyan, Sam, Toda Rabah. Thank you, Sam. It was beautiful. We're now going to hear a reading from Charles.
All right. Passover is a time for growth and rebirth. In the past year, I have grown physically and mentally. I've also increased my capacity for tolerance and compassion for others.
Thanks, Charlie. And we're going to hear another reading from Haley.
Hi. Okay, so this Passover is different from others because I feel that I have learned the importance of family and I've discovered how grateful I am to have an amazing family. I've also realized how important spending time with your loved ones is and that I should be grateful to the amount of time that I spend with my family and friends. To add on, I've also learned many things about myself since last Passover. For example, I've learned how to be more aware of my surroundings and what is going on in the world right now. Lastly, I've learned to be appreciative of all my great friends and family that I have.
Thank you, Haley. Haley and Charlie, that was beautiful. I love hearing all of your ideas. It just breathes new life into our Shabbat service this evening. We're about to do Lecha Dodi with Evan, and I was talking to my friend today. It was really wonderful. We were able to have a socially distanced coffee date, and I asked her what it was like going to church when she was younger, because she knew I'm studying to be a rabbi, and she said, oh, I loved going to church when I was a kid. And I asked her, what was your favorite part? And she says, we just talked a lot about love and acceptance. And it made me think of Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi is the story of two lovers coming together. And those lovers have been interpreted to be many things. It could be interpreted as God with the people of Israel, with Shabbat, with the rest of the week, with the presence of God and the people in it. But it's all about uniting, coming out of our sorrow, coming out of our week, and being together in love. So we now look to Evan to lead us in this beautiful poem of love together.
Lecha, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, la 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Lecha, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ותחילה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי היא מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, כי באורך ומיורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כבוד אדני עלייך נגלה לה 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 לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת מקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה. Please stand and face the door to welcome the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzola tochem uneam segula boi chala לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לה 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 לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה.
So beautiful. Thank you, Evan. Now we're going to turn to the Sparrow family, and Sarah is going to do a reading for us and lead us in the candle lighting.
Hello. There we are.
We hear you, we see you.
It has nearly been a year since we last celebrated Passover during the pandemic. We will be celebrating another Passover during the pandemic, but this time is different because we can see more being done, we know more about COVID-19, and we can see a way out. If you really think about it, we didn't know what was coming during the early quarantine and during our pandemic-style Passover. We had no idea how long this quarantine would even last when we sat down for virtual Passover a year ago. I have learned a lot about myself since last Passover. For example, I have learned I have a lot more patience than I thought I had, and I'm sure everyone here has learned something about themselves too. Now please join me in the lighting of the Shabbat candles.
Ready?
While you light the candles, we'll ask you to bring the light in 3 times, and we'll ask Evan to lead us in the baptism of the candles.
La 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 la. Baruch atah Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner v'tzivanu lehadlik ner v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Spiro family, just want to thank you so much for leading that lighting of the Shabbat candles, a beautiful candle set, and thank you so much for your words, Sarah. And now I'd like to kick it back to Evan, again, our religious and cultural VP, to lead us into the Baruch Hu with his words.
As Passover is quickly approaching, we remember what makes those nights different from any other. We slouch in our chairs, a celebration that we are no longer slaves of the Pharaoh. We eat matzah and not leavened bread, to remember the lack of time that we had to let bread rise when we were fleeing slavery. But what doesn't change and what remains constant year after year after year is that God will always listen to our prayer. And so we come together as a community and the call to worship to strengthen that prayer. So please rise with me for the Baruch Hu. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed.
Beautiful, Evan. Thank you for your words as well as your music tonight. And now I'd like to hand it over to your colleague, Ben, the financial VP of Kitty. Ben, if you can give me a wave, I'll try to find you and spotlight you here. There you are.
What makes Passover special to me, you ask? Well, the best thing that it brings to me in life is that it brings me, my friends, and my family together. I'm very disappointed to say that, like most of you who are watching, my true 2020 Passover experience was taken away by COVID-19. As well as it being taken away this year, I do hope, however, that I see that as more and more people learn to conquer Zoom, families like mine can enjoy Passover Seders together over the net, no matter where they are in the world. Happy Passover, everybody.
Fantastic, Ben. Happy Passover. And now I'd like to ask Julian to please give me a wave as well, and I will spotlight you. Hey, buddy. Okay.
Hello. So I'm doing my reading right now.
Yeah, I also want to introduce that Julian's going to offer us words not on the Passover topic, but on these beautiful words from his college and mission essay, if I'm not mistaken, reflecting on his time at Kol Tikvah, which were just amazing. So please, Julian.
Yes, thank you. This is an essay that I wrote for my college application last year, reflecting on who I am. And the prompt was asking, describe a place that feels like home. So immediately I thought of Kol Tikvah, and I described to the admissions officers and now to you guys what Kol Tikvah means to me, and I'm sure many of you will be on the exact same page. Temple Kol Tikvah offers me a space to reflect on my life. When I walk through the doors, it's as if there's a mirror waiting for me to examine my feelings and check in on my values. The synagogue is filled with wholehearted people. My conversations at Friday night Shabbat range from talking baseball with Louis, the security guard, to sharing a story with an elderly couple, to joking with the rabbi while stealing chocolate from his office. There is an energy powered by the sense of familiarity and community which forces me to live in the moment. These people ground me when I get too caught up in my own ego and worries, and they remind me who I want to be. Over the past 10 years, the temple has built my confidence through both defining and smaller moments. It provided my band's first audience, helped hone my public speaking skills, and gave me the opportunity to engage with all ages. The clergy, with whom I'm very close, have helped me explore my spirituality and strengthen my values. Whenever the rabbi asks me to recite prayers for high holidays, I am initially reluctant, yet another homework assignment. Then I realize how important this honor is to the congregation. I am proud to see their encouraging smiles from the stage, as well as the mirror brightly reflecting a better man. Each time I head out the door, this man in the mirror gives me a wave, and I'm grounded once again. Thank you.
Fantastic, Julian. I'm sure that's going to take you where you want to go, and it's beautiful words reflecting on Kol Tikvah. I just love hearing your memories from your time here. Okay, so we're heading into the Shema now. So I'd like to go ahead and unmute Lindsay, our kitty president, to lead us in that. And thanks again, Julian. So I invite you all to please rise before Lindsay leads us in the Shema. And before she sings, I love this practice that I've picked up from Rabbi John of breathing into the Shema. So we're going to take 3 deep breaths. So first, let's breathe in for springtime, breathing in the smells of spring. Let it out. Let's breathe in the expectation of Passover and freedom to come, a deep breath. And finally, let's take a deep breath in for this holiness of Shabbat and being together as a community. One last deep breath. Let's join the Shema with Lindsay together.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod, Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Shakolach, Lindsay. Beautiful. Okay, everyone, please be seated. And now I need to find Julian again to please lead us in the continuation. There you are. To lead us in the continuation of the Shema with the words of V'ahavta.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלתך בדרך ובשוקבך ובקומך וקשתם לראות על ידיך וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Shakolach, Julian. Okay, and now on to Garrett, our youth group programming VP. I'm going to ask you to unmute, Garrett, and here's your spotlight.
This Passover is different and more meaningful than other Passovers, as this year we spent time away from most of our friends and family. But just like the Exodus, we will all hopefully soon be together as a community in person. Since last Passover, I have learned just how precious life is and how thankful I need to be to the ones around me.
Thanks, Garrett. And on to you, Samantha, please.
The Micha Mocha not only reminds us that we were all once slaves in Israel, but that miracles are possible. Miracles happen every day, small ones, big ones, anything from getting a full night of rested sleep to finally getting an appointment for a COVID vaccine. Or the first time your child laughs to accomplishing their achievements. Miracles happen in many forms. You may not realize when they take place, when they take place. As we sing the Mi Hamocha, reflect on your day or this past week. What miracles have happened? Please share in the chat as Evan leads us in the Mi Hamocha.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Nora tehilot osefele. Nora tehilot osefele. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed.
Thank you, Evan. Now I would like to introduce Drew, who is the Kitty corresponding vice president. Drew, if you can wave.
Hi. It's been almost a year since last Passover, yet it feels like it was barely 5 months ago. In normal years, Passover brings families together to retell the story of when we were enslaved in Egypt. While last year we were unable to do that due to the pandemic, my extended family hosted a big Zoom call on Passover, and we tried to continue our long traditions, at least in spirit. This Passover, we will likely do the same, and even though we may not be able to be together in person, it's our willingness to keep on with our traditions that makes it meaningful.
Thank you, Drew. We are told to keep Shabbat, but why and how does that apply to us today? Our lives are so different from how they were back in biblical times. I like to think of keeping Shabbat as taking a day for self-care, a day to spend with family and friends who bring you joy, a day to appreciate the life we have. How do you show appreciation for your life on Shabbat? I hope we can share our appreciation for life with those around us this Shabbat. Evan.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know if you were gonna like say.
Oh, sorry.
Vishamru.
Back now, Vishamru. Sorry.
Okay. Veshamru bnei Israel et Shabbat la'asot et Shabbat לדורותם בברית עולם. Veshamru bnei Israel et Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי שבט ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Asher, Koach, Evan, so talented. Not to mention, thank you, Kitty board members, for the spontaneous spotlight there. I could not resist, and you did an excellent job. Okay. Back to Sarah, who's going to be reading on behalf of her classmate, Adam, in response to the Passover prompt. So Sarah, I'm going to ask you to unmute here. And here you go.
The following is from my classmate, Adam. The primary difference between this Passover and the last is the state of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, I expect that this will not affect Passover as we personally celebrate it. We stay home and have a Seder, something that would not be significantly affected by the pandemic. Since last year, I have observed human behavior in reaction to the pandemic. Humans chafe under any outside restriction. The oppressed minorities toil under unfavorable regimes. Those who recklessly ignored or denied COVID-19 help to show this. However, simply wearing masks and staying home pales in comparison to the slavery endured by the Jews in Exodus. The story of Passover gives us much needed perspective on our own circumstances.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
For that. Okay, I think the feedback's off. Excellent. I love those deep thoughts from our confirmation students. And now on to Ethan, our social action vice president.
Hello, my name is Ethan Glucroft. Over the last year, it seems like we're in a foreign world, a world that doesn't seem to be ours anymore. Hugs replaced by waves, and the closest people have to seeing friends is on a screen. But the world won't be like this forever. Everything heals, and so will our world. So let's say the prayer for healing together.
Thank you so much, Ethan, for that introduction. And I would like to now read the list of names of those I know who are in healing within our community. And please feel free to add names as well to the chat. If you're on social media, please add it to the comment section. So to begin with Pamela Abraham, Hillel Baldwin, Sigal Barsaid, Lenore Benjamin, Bert Brooks, Nancy Braun, Lucy Brunson, Debbie Dunner, Suzanne Gallant, Phyllis and Martin Gilmore, Michelle Gordon, David Hammer, Mark Henderson, Paul Hiddleman, Herb Jaffe, Brett Kerner, Posey Kramer, Susan Landau, Stan Lieber, Ira Mandel, Arlene Nyberg, Justin Owens, Bryn Pime, Joyce Powell, Joanne Shapiro, Siggy Vogt, Claire Weiss, Norma Wills, Ruth Bat Michal, and Karen Wood, as well as everyone who's currently battling COVID-19, and everyone caring for those who are ill. We keep all of those in our hearts. I will also read those names I see in the chat, and there are many tonight. Barbara and Ted Korshak, Patty Silver, Yvette Katz, Amber Kirk, Michael Jesser, Elliot Spiro, Joanne Morse, Rabbi Steve Robbins, Thad Gerber, Lori Feinholtz, Harvey Kaplan, Stephen Goodman, the entire community of Asian Americans. Thank you, Pam and Chris. Leonard Pasternak, Nikki Pasternak. I also like to add Sarah Kearns, my sister. We hold all those names in our hearts as Evan will lead us in the words of the Misha Berach.
us a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi shebeirach amoteinu, mekor habracha leavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Amen, amen. Thank you, Evan. And now I'd actually like to feature a video after we've wished refuah shlema to all those names that we mentioned. And the video is of Morgan, who pre-recorded this answer to our prompt on Passover.
Passover is different from others because we have now gone through a life-changing experience. Going through the pandemic has taught me to be grateful for what I have. Normally for Passover, I would get together with my family, but this year is a little different. This year has taught me to be thankful for the small things because I've noticed how much I took things for granted.
Okay, thank you so much, Morgan. Words I think we can all feel ourselves. And now back to Samantha, please.
The Amidah, this is one of the most important parts of the service. Without the Amidah, we could not have a completed service. I am thrilled to have two of our teens leading us in this pillar of the service. Haley, take it away.
Please rise with Haley as she leads us in the Amidah.
Adonai sefer hakitach uvia gita ilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imatenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Bekonei Hakol, Bezocher Chasdei Avot ve'Imahot, Umevi Geula, Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Hazer U'Mashiach U'Magin, Baruch atah Adonai, Magin Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah.
Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Atah, Rav Lehoshia, Mashiva Ruach U'Morid HaGashem. Mechakel Hayim Behesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melah, Melech Memit, Umechaye, Umatzmiah Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lechayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, utkodshim bechol yam, yachalu chasela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
Asher Koach, Haley and Danielle, thank you so much. And now, if you'd like to take a moment for silent meditation, and please be seated when your prayer is complete.
Yaseh Shalom Bimromav Ose Shalom Bimromav Uyase Shalom Uyase Shalom Uyase Shalom Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who brings peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
Koach, Evan. Okay. And now we actually have already spotlighted Lindsay, our kitty president, who will be leading the Devar Torah for this evening.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. People always picture what their first day of senior year will look like. You're the top dog on campus. Everyone wants to be you. You feel different, and it's your last year. You're going to leave high school in a few months. At my school, Calabasas High, there is a senior tradition of dressing up in our class color and running through the school while the other students cheer for us. For the graduating class of 2021, we did not imagine this day taking place from home. Last week, we finished the book of Exodus, and you may find it difficult to imagine what comes next. Rather than continue the narrative of our people, the Torah makes a sharp turn in this week's Torah portion, Vayikra, the first in the book of Leviticus, and launches quickly into a description of the different animal sacrifices. These sacrifices were made at the tabernacle, which traveled with the Israelites as they wandered in the desert, and also at the ancient temple in Jerusalem. As an animal lover, this isn't the ideal Torah portion, but neither is the situation we are in with COVID. Why did the Israelites make these sacrifices? Their understanding was that their existence relied on them. If there was too much wrongdoing, the world itself would implode, if you will. Remember what happened in the flood? Rather than let that happen, they made sacrifices, allowing their world to continue in close relationship with God. We have all had to make many sacrifices this past year in one way or another to ensure that our world continues. For myself, it has changed my experience as a senior in high school and as a teen leader. There have been a lot of milestones that seniors really look forward to that have been taken away from us due to COVID. For instance, football games, sitting in the senior section at pep rallies, parking in the senior lot, and so much more. To most people, these things don't seem like much. But when it's our turn and we don't get any of it, it becomes a huge deal to us. I'm a part of a film academy at my school called AME. It's the Academy of Media and Entertainment. I've been in this program since freshman year with the same 28 students. As a freshman, you hear about the big senior capstone project, a short film the class creates together as a culmination of our 4 years together in the program. I knew that I wanted to be the producer from my sophomore year. The time of my senior capstone has come, and I was selected by a fellow classmate the role for associate producer, which I was obviously thrilled to receive. Although we are still putting our film together, and earlier today was our first shoot day, nothing is how it used to be. To be COVID safe, we can't get close to one another, which means that I can't hang out with my friends on set while filming. We are only able to film one actor at a time to be safe, which means we have to get very creative when thinking of how we are going to shoot our film. I'm extremely thankful that in spite of COVID-19, we are still able to film our capstone in person. However, just like everything else this year, it's not how I imagined it would be. The thought of not knowing what is ahead is the scariest part for us as seniors in high school. Even though there's a possibility of an in-person graduation, again, just like everything else, it most certainly will not be the tradition we have always dreamed it would be. Aside from having to sacrifice the highlights of senior year, I have also had to sacrifice experiences as a teen leader. When I was in 8th grade, Samantha started Kitty, the Kol Tikvah Temple Youth Program. Since then, I have served as the president of the middle school board, then as financial vice president, as well as programming vice president for 2 years in a row on the high school board. If I could have, I would have ran for president of Kitty during my freshman year, but just like my predecessors, I had to wait and earn the elected position of Kitty president. I have been looking forward to being president since 8th grade. And don't get me wrong, I am thrilled to lead the 2020 to 2021 board, especially through the hard times we are currently in. There have been a lot of sacrifices that I have made during my time as Kitty president. It was really strange to start off my presidency in Kitty not being able to be with everyone in the Kol Tikvah building. For me, I started my presidency differently by simply walking out of my room and sharing the news with my parents that I had won. Every year, we also had a board bonding retreat. For most of the day, we get together as a new board to play bonding games, build leadership, teamwork, and communication skills, and beginning to plan events for the upcoming school year. Although the current Kitty board, we were all very close with each other from already working together over the past few years. We as a board are even closer than before now. We had a glimpse of hope back in the fall by having the opportunity of being able to have our board retreat at the temple in August before the school year began. However, it was unlike any Kitty board retreat we have had before. We each had a table to ourselves in a circle, with everything being 6 feet away in the social hall and very COVID safe thanks to Samantha's hard work. We have not been able to have an in-person meeting since. It has been hard at times to lead a board when we were only able to be over Zoom, but we have all made the best of the situation. It's a good thing that we're all already good friends because we would not be able to participate in any in-person events that make the board grow closer, especially our sleepover. We were also fortunate enough to have 2 actual events in person with other teens. It was meaningful on multiple levels, and it was a reminder that we will soon be together again. Since we now host our events over Zoom, we were all challenged to get really creative with icebreakers, event ideas, and not be repetitive or lame while interactive and fun. I want to thank the Kitty board, Garrett, Ethan, Ben, Evan, and Drew for all they have done this year by supporting me and helping lead events, activities, and much more. I would like to acknowledge Garrett for showing so much growth and leadership this year. And shout out to Evan, our religious and cultural vice president, who's helping lead this service as a sophomore in high school, as well as leading Havdalah after events. Also, Ethan for always being there and being a great support and always showing dedication to Kitty. Last but not least, Ben and Drew for helping Kitty during this challenging time when we all had difficulties going on in our lives separately. We have learned so much from each other this past year and individually have all grown so much. Personally, I have had the opportunity to step up more as a leader. This has been a challenging time for everyone, and we have so much going on in our own personal lives, but when we come together, even virtually, we have been able to rise to the occasion. We as teens have made a lot of sacrifices this year in many ways, which has been really hard on all of us. Just because of my time on the Kitty board and all the obstacles I faced this year, I feel ready to go to college, enter the real world, and take what I've learned with me. The sacrifices that myself and this generation have had to make taught us that a little light sends away a lot of darkness. Just because we are having a hard time right now doesn't mean that it will stay this way forever, and it will get better. Passover is just around the corner, and at the end of the Seder, we say next year in Jerusalem. This Seder, I would add next year in person. Ken Yahi Ratzon, may it be God's will.
Yasher Koach Lindsay. That was
Thank you.
beautiful. The Kitty stuff really touched home with me because I know how much this board means to you. And as much as you thanked everyone on the board for their service, which I'm sure we all greatly appreciate, what you didn't mention is that it's your birthday tomorrow.
It is.
It
Thank
is
you.
your birthday. And
Thank you.
we're going to sing happy birthday because everyone deserves a happy birthday, especially right now.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lindsay. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Lindsay.
Happy birthday,
Lindsay, yours is tomorrow, but mine's on Sunday.
I'm
Isn't it?
literally gonna cry.
Yeah, mine's on Sunday.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Lindsay. And thanks, Evan, for everything. Okay. To our president, Rob, please lead us in announcements.
Well, sometimes when the board person is asked to do announcements, they feel a little intimidated. My goodness, they're following the rabbi, they're following the cantor. Imagine how I feel today following all the wonderful teens, and especially Lindsay with the tremendous words that you had tonight. Thank you so much. Thank you, Samantha Duenas, Sam Klein, our rabbinic intern, Jade, for helping to coordinate this wonderful service. And I would also add Karen Friedman as well. A special thank you again to our Kol Tikvah teens, Mazel Tov on just a beautiful service. And again, a special shout out from one president to another. Lindsay, you've led our group just wonderfully through this pandemic this year. And it's so nice to see the culmination here tonight. So thank you all. We've got some announcements as we usually do. I will direct you also to koltikvah.org/events. Everything's listed there. So if you don't get it tonight, you can get it online. This Sunday, the Stand, the wonderful restaurant located in both Woodland Hills and Encino, is donating 20% of your purchases to our Tzedakah teens for their contributions to teens' mental health, teen suicide prevention, and also the California Wildlife Relief Fund. So if you go to the Stand, either lunch or dinner, just mention when you're checking out Tzedakah Teens of Kol Tikvah, and the temple will get 20% to be donated by the teens to the two wonderful charities I've just mentioned. Rabbi John and screenwriter Alec Litvak's Writers Workshop is starting this Monday, March 22nd. On the 23rd, Tuesday, you can join in for the Parties with a Purpose. It will feature champagne, chocolates, and a centerpiece. The temple will provide a bottle of bubbly, box of chocolates, and the flowers, and you get to have fun and walk away with a centerpiece for Passover. On Thursday, we are welcoming our first of two scholars in our Scholars in Residence program. Rabbi Bill Tepper will be with us, and his words to guide us are 3 Jewish texts from the 1940s. Should be very insightful and certainly well worth our time. So tune in. Passover starts next Saturday night, a week from tomorrow night. Please plan on joining us for our second annual our annual second night Seder on Sunday, March 28th, and also a Hametz Fest in Havdalah on April the 3rd. So many wonderful, amazing programs going on at Kol Tikvah. Too many to list here. Again, we'll direct you to our Thursday emails. Also, again, koltikvah.org for more information. We look forward to seeing you next Friday Shabbat service, a Kabbalat Shabbat. And thank you for joining us tonight. Shabbat Shalom all. And by the way, tonight's virtual tzedakah box goes to the West Valley Food Pantry. So again, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all. Wonderful, wonderful service tonight.
Thank you very much, Rob. And I have a unique promo to share with the congregation. This is created by our current Lori Getz, member Lori Getz, for an upcoming event. And I just want you to mark your calendars. It's on April 11th at 3 o'clock. heading into Yom Ha'atzmaut, an amazing race around Israel. So check it out. You might say it's going to be pretty epic, so please stay tuned. We're going to send out an email, I believe we haven't already, with the link information, and it's going to be incredibly technologically sophisticated event, so stay tuned. And a final announcement will be given to us by Ethan. So Ethan, let me find you here. There you are. Okay.
Hello, Shabbat Shalom. I'm Ethan Glucroft, the Kitty Social Action Vice President and the President of the Kol Tikvah Tzedakah Teens, a teen philanthropy group for 8th through 12th graders. You may be wondering, what does tzedakah mean? Tzedakah means justice, justice for those who are less fortunate and justice for those who are in need. Similar to tzedakah, there is philanthropy, which means the desire to promote welfare of others, expressed especially in the generous donation of money to good causes. This is what we, the tzedakah teens, do and who we are. We raise money and donate to special organizations to help make the world a better place. Every year, the tzedakah teens work to make the world a better place, like the Jewish tradition of Tikkun Olam, which literally means repairing the world. And this year is no different. We have decided that it is our mission to donate to 2 nonprofit organizations focusing on teen mental health and wildfire relief in California. First, teen suicide is on the rise. As many people know, my generation, also known as Gen Z, has been struggling over the past year. School has been canceled. We can't see our friends. It seems like the entire world came to an end. For some people, it's harder to deal with than others. In fact, according to the American Association of Pediatrics, teen suicide rates have gone up by 170%. 170% since the beginning of the pandemic. Think of all those kids that would still be alive if they had help, if they had made a single phone call. That's part of what we want to help fix, by giving these kids a lifeline so that no kid will ever be silent again when they call out for help. Secondly, Smokey the Bear should be getting overtime. It seems like every year our fires in California have been getting worse Over the last 5 years, the average amount of fires have gone up from 6,000 fires a year to over 440,000 fires per year. That is a 7,000% increase. And let me say that again, a 7,000% increase. Think about all those people that have been affected by these fires and how many lives have been changed forever. Look at all the people around you on the Zoom. There's a good chance that at least one person on this Zoom has been impacted due to wildfire. Many of these people go homeless and they can't get the relief they desperately need. We want to help fix this by donating to an organization that helps give relief to these people in need. But we need you to help us to make these changes. Every dollar counts. Tzedakah Teens is currently holding a Seize Candy fundraiser. If you're interested, please refer to the Kol Tikvah weekly e-blast. Additionally, save the date for this Sunday, March 21st, for a restaurant fundraiser at the Stand in Woodland Hills and Encino locations from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Finally, please visit our website, koltikvah.org/tzedakah teens, for a method to donate directly to us. We appreciate your support in helping our teen philanthropy mission towards Tikkun Olam and repairing the world. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.
Thanks so much, Ethan. Shabbat Shalom. wonderful job leading the Tzedakah teens, which is an excellent group of our teens leading the work of Tikkun Olam. So our thoughts now turn to those who are no longer with us in body, but are still with us in memory. We'll turn to the words of the Mourner's Kaddish shortly. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to please share any names of those that you are thinking of tonight, those who you are remembering, as I share the names that I am aware of from our community. So to begin with those who have recently departed: Judith Finkelstein, remembered by the Levinson family; Jack Bailey, remembered by the Friedman family, the Bailey family; Louis Wesley, remembered by the Margolis family; Sam Levine, remembered by the Meyer family; Dr. Stuart Urbach, remembered by the Urbach and Hanisch families; Faye Willard, remembered by the Friedman and Willard family; and Alan Levitt, remembered by the Levitt family. We also want to add those who lost their lives in Atlanta this week to hate and gun violence of Asian American ethnicity: Delana Ashley Young, 33; Paul Andre Michels, 54; Zhao Jitan, 49; and Dayu Feng, 44; Sun-Si Park, 74; Hyun Jae Grant, 51; Sun Ja Kim, 69; and Young Ayu, 63. Now for the Yortzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Elaine Altenberg, Matthew Kalin, Harry Cohen, Ruth Dubin, Florence Friedman, Gerald Galbum, Bertha Heimlich, Gloria Y. Cave, Susan Lane, Rose Leitner, Pauline Lishman, Louis Marshall, Nathan Mendelson, Edith Mullen, Helen Oberman, Michael Pelton, Jack Richmond, Alice Smolkin, Ann Snyder, Gitta Warner, Louise Weissman, William Utam, and Diana Werlein. I'll add the names that I see in the chat: Manny Katz, Harriet Spiro, Bella Stark, Gitta Warner, and Ruth Middleman, Ralph Bank. For all these names, we say Zichronam Livracha. May all of their memories be for a blessing. I've pasted into the chat the words of the Mourner's Kaddish. I invite you to please rise in this order. If you are observing Shiva, the first week of mourning, please rise now. If you are observing Shloshim, the first month of mourning, please rise now. If you are observing Shana, the first 11 months of mourning, please rise now. And finally, if you're observing a Yortzeit, an anniversary of the death, please rise now. We recognize the mourners in our community standing tonight, and we as one community rise together with them in solidarity and read these words of the Mourner's Kaddish together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'almad yivrach yirteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'amei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitpamam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kedusha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru Amen. May God comfort those who mourn and then bring peace down to earth as it is in heaven. Should we say together? Amen. Okay, please be seated. And to conclude tonight's service, we can't let a family service go by without these ancient words of the priestly benediction from the book of Numbers. And before I share that, if you happen to be nearby your parents, please run over to them. This is a special blessing given from parents to their children each Shabbat. And I want to share this blessing with them. And I really want to note that we have amazing teens here tonight. many of which are seniors. And we are so sorry to see you go at the end of this semester and wish you only the best, but know that you can always tune in apparently on Zoom and be with us. So we don't lose you forever. That's Lindsay, Ethan, Garrett, and Julian, amazing seniors from our temple. And I also want to thank all the teens that supported Evan and Lindsay and all these seniors tonight. Evan, Daniel, Adam, Sarah, Drew, Haley, Morgan, Ben, Charles. I forgot your name. I'm so sorry. I think I got everyone. And for all of our congregation here tonight to support our teens, thank you so much. So here are the words of the priestly blessing. Parents, you want to put your hands on your child's head. I can speak from experience. Once a child, always a child. You never get old enough for this blessing. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God's light shine on you and fill your life with grace. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God always watch over you and grant you wholeness and peace and connection to this community. Parents, if you want to add your own blessing, please do so now. And now to our Cantor to be, Chazan Evan. A little premature, but he's doing a fantastic job tonight, as you have seen on guitar and piano. Lead us in the words of Oseh Shalom.
As always, if your loved ones are nearby, put your arms around them, because this is a song of love. Oseh Shalom bimroma, v'yaseh Shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimroma, v'yaseh Shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimroma, v'yaseh Shalom aleinu. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, ve'al Kol Yisrael. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Yaseh Shalom aleinu. Oseh Shalom bimromav, Yaseh Shalom aleinu. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom aleinu. Kol Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. If you have like a Kiddush cup or a challah nearby, now would be a good time to get it for the rest of the Shabbat blessings.
And Evan, as you lead us in this Kiddush, I just want to note that Evan informed me that this is to the melody of South African Nusach that your mom taught you, which is pretty cool. So let's enjoy the Kiddush together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen l'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava v'tzanachin hilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reshit. Ki hu yom techila lemikre kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta. Ki vanu v'acharta Ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim b'shabbat kodshacha b'ahava v'ratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz Pitzei Avon. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Amen. L'chaim. Shabbat Shalom. Fantastic job, Evan. Thank you so much. And to all of our teams tonight. Okay, now I get to meet you all, which I've been looking forward to. Let's see if I can figure this out. And here we go.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Everybody. Happy turning 60 this Sunday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Wonderful Shabbat, everyone. Thank you so much.
Wonderful service. Great
Really
job,
beautiful
team.
service,
You guys did a good
Thank
job.
you for today. Thank you, everybody. Shabbat Shalom and a happy Pesach.
Dan,